It says the
Um,
Central Computer Society TechSIG for September 24th. Mike Ungerman, we've got Drew King and Forrest Cheek that have just joined us. And we'll see how many folks we get tonight.
uh,
Have your hatches all battened down there on the West Coast, Drew?
well, I have one neighbor that is a new neighbor that just moved onto the street a few months ago that put her shutters up yesterday. Nobody else on the street has even bothered to put up shutters.
Yeah,
I haven't put mine up yet, and I'm going to wait until the forecast gets a little bit more clear as to
and
whether or not I'm going to
then
bother.
your shutters blow around.
No,
Where
the
do you live?
shutters
Where do
my
you live?
shutters are turn like my house into an Abrams tank.
Where do you live,
Um,
brother?
in Sarasota,
Okay.
and the storm is we're gonna get part of it.
The key
We'll
will
get a lot of
be,
rain and a lot of wind.
yeah, the key will be which way it actually trends once it clears the Yucatan Peninsula. And everybody's guessing, and I think the models are guessing too, because, hurricanes wobble. And
I've seen a lot of hurricanes in Florida turn at the last minute.
yeah, Charlie back in 2004 was not supposed to come up the peninsula. It was
Yeah.
supposed to come up the West Coast and go in, at the Big Bend.
Yeah, I was here. I was visiting my father. I was living in Massachusetts in '04, and my father had some back surgery, and I was here taking care of him. And I just happened to pick the week that Charlie, was heading to Sarasota. So I got my first lesson in how to hang shutters, because my father couldn't hang the shutters. And fortunately, my next door neighbor helped me. And then I bought a bottle of scotch, and I sat out behind the house in a lounge chair waiting for the storm to hit, and it never came.
Well, they have a mind of their own.
So you never know until the last. You never know. But
Initially, they were saying we were going to get it like on Wednesday or Wednesday afternoon. Now they're saying it'll be Thursday here,
Yep.
anyway.
yeah, and my puppy was scheduled to get spayed tomorrow morning, and I canceled it because I didn't want to have any post-surgical issues and then not be able to get back to the doctor.
Yeah, good decision. Huey, have you got any preps that you do for hurricane, or just sort of ride it out as it is?
Grocery shopping today, and I it filled up my car with gas on the way back from Orlando, so I got 3/4 of a tank, so I didn't have to worry about that. And other than that, just see what happens.
How is your area in the Eagle Village for flooding?
If flooding is not a problem, it's the losing power, and the clubhouse is different than most of the village, and it's right on the main highway, so they get that. They either don't lose it or we get it back a lot quicker. So the big storms we've had, where we've lost power, and one of them for several days, we could go up there and people took food out of their freezers and brought it up, and we just had a community dinner and just it's built to be a place for us to go. It's not a community center, but it is for us. The only thing they didn't
Yeah.
do, and it's probably just as well, is put uh, a generator.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
that would be a good investment, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
My community just invested in one for the main office, and we have like a small restaurant cafe inside the complex, and the generator is going to power the refrigerator that keeps all the food. And they make that refrigerator, in the event of a hurricane, available to people that have medications that need to be refrigerated. So if you lose power and you have something that needs to be refrigerated, you can bring it to the restaurant.
What about people with CPAP machines? Do those things run on like lithium batteries or?
A CPAP machine, that thing has to run. I have a CPAP machine, and I can't imagine if your main power was out in your house, you're just you got to live without it. I don't
No,
think you can.
I have one that I use a battery for.
You do?
It'll last 3 days, the battery.
Uh,
It's one of those real small air sense. They sell for about $1,000. And I was on the internet, and some guys were talking about one, and one guy said he didn't like it. He used it twice, and he's probably going to sell it or give it away. And I messaged him. Anyway, we cut a deal, and everybody here wanted $150 to set it up for me. And you can do it with your phone. And he sent it to me without charging me anything. If I could get it set up, then I'd pay him $250 for it. I got it one day and I was tired and I didn't try, and I woke up in the middle of the night. In about 15 minutes, I had it set, and I wrote him a check, put it in the mail the next day. Then I went on somewhere and was looking at some batteries, and believe it or not, in Asheville, North Carolina, it was a friend of a friend that was at the place that was selling them, and she told me how to get a big discount on it. Something the batteries for it is somewhere around $600.
Wow.
They're 6 and a quarter for my oxygen. I've got two of those. They're 625 each for that. And this battery will last a long time. And you can run your laptop off of it and anything. So that's what I've got. So,
huh.
Yeah, I know they're selling these so-called power centers now with lithium-ion batteries, and they say, okay, you take them on camping trips, hunting trips, or take them in a like in a travel trailer or something like that,
Yep, yep.
and they'll have enough power in them that you don't need a small gas generator. Lots of people will have the little Honda generators or something like that, but these are supposed to give you a day or 2 days or whatever use of what, not
Yeah,
big demand, but for CPAP machine or keep your refrigerator going or something like that.
yep.
I have a neighbor that has one 22,000 watt. It powers a house. That's the only one at 533 homes here, and she's the only one that has one. And I could take my batteries over there and charge them if I needed to.
Yeah. My sister and brother-in-law put a generator in their house this past summer. So if we have a bad storm and I lose electricity, I'm just going to drive over to their house.
I have a nephew who lives on right on Dog River in Mobile, Alabama, and he has a big generator like that, and it's built on a stand that's 15 feet tall out beside his house because the river can come up. That river came up probably 20 feet, and he got about 4 feet up in the walls of their first floor of their house, and it's up a hill too to that. And when they rewired it, they put the 110 outlets on the first floor, 6 feet above the floor.
Hmm. We've got
Hi, Sandy.
and Sean.
66.
Yes, I'm here. Finally.
Well, we're just
Did you
sort of
get?
rambling. We haven't really started anything significant. Drew, I think you said that you were going to have to leave early. Is that still correct?
Well, I want to join for the first time the Chicago Linux group, and that starts in an hour. So I've got until 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, we'll let a few more folks come in, and one thing I wanted to do, and then I'll start with you as we go
Yeah,
around.
Sandy, did you get my email?
Yes, I did, Huey. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Was sorry I missed the program yesterday. I had my annual eye exam, and would you believe they broke my glasses?
Oh, gee.
So I was delayed and wasn't able to join the broadcast. But I very much appreciate that. That will be very helpful.
Yeah, you did a nice job. She's looking for a new computer, and Ron did a bit yesterday on how to look for a new PC.
Richard, welcome from down under. Good to see you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
We're on the Central Florida area getting ready for a potential hurricane, which I guess if you get them over there, they're typhoons, right?
Not Melbourne.
Right.
Yeah, very rarely do we have high winds.
Hmm. Okay.
And,
Well,
and that's why, and here, if they do happen, they call them cyclones. I think typhoons in the Northern Hemisphere. Sort of places like Hong Kong, where I was last week.
well, what I wanted to do in honor of Stan, who departed this ethereal plane a week and a half ago, is play the video that is from the pictures that Huey and I put together. Huey helped me with Camtasia getting a video, and then I was able to put all the pictures together and video them and Camtasia and upload them to YouTube. So I wanted to play the video for posterity, and then we'll go on with our normal discussions. When you watch this, you may want to just sort of jot down a few notes if you would like to discuss any of the pictures that were actually in the video. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me just make sure there's nobody else in the waiting room. No, there isn't. In fact, Huey, let me make you a co-host if you don't mind.
I am automatically because I
Oh,
came
you
in
are?
on the account.
Okay, that's good. All right, so if you keep your eye on the participant lane. Okay, so let's go to share and screen two. And I think I can get this to pop out. It may play. Let's see if, that will play. Let it pop out.
You're not recording, correct?
Yeah, I am recording, but I've already.
Okay.
This is
Oh, I
actually
see it.
on
Okay.
YouTube, and it has actually cleared their checks too. Let's see. I'm going to stop in a second.
We're not seeing it.
Yep, it's over on my other screen, so I need to move that tab over. Hang on a moment. Let's move this. Let's move this down. Well, come on, move. There we go. Now I need to get the tab that this is on. Where are you? There we go. Okay, we'll bring that over here. And we'll go full screen. And we'll go back to the beginning. Okay. And we're off.
did a nice job on that, Mike.
Thank you.
Sure did.
What I thought we would do, assuming I can get there easily, let's see if I can just get it to make sure I'm in the right account. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so what I wanted to do is discuss a couple of the pictures. Of course, Huey provided this one, which is pretty good. I thought this was a kind of a cute family picture, catching all the kids together.
He's so young there. Yeah.
Yeah. And from CFCS, it might be interesting just to go through and talk about. So this is Ted Goodwin, and I'm not sure who's in the background that I can see. I see. Okay, I see
I think that's at one of our meetings at Jackson Hewitt.
Yeah. And I see Arvin in the background that I recognize. This thing does not have a little hourglass to make it bigger, I don't think. Let me see. No. All right. And Stan was making a point of some sort, which he could do quite well. Now this one, can anybody guess what this is? I know exactly what it is, but anybody guess?
Yeah, you told me, so I know too.
Yeah, you told us the other night.
CompUSA had an annual Make a Computer contest at all their stores all around the country. And then each store's winner would be invited to go to Las Vegas. You had to get out there on your own, but you would be invited to go out to Vegas and compete in the nationals. And if you won in the nationals, there were, I think it was the first, second, and third place, and you actually got a computer from CompUSA. So I was there, Stan was there, and he got to the point where he was trying to get the cover on, and he couldn't get the thing to fit. And he's sort of pressing down and pushing. I think the cover was slid sideways, and he was trying to get it to go this way, up and down. And we were all just sort of standing there smirking a little bit. And I remember in my case, I had actually put the CD in upside down. So it went in kind of nice on the rails, but they pointed out, hey, you installed this upside down, so I was disqualified. But I thought that was an interesting event. Also notice the difference in the technology of the TVs back then too. And that is Jackson Hewitt. I'm trying to, I don't recognize the woman in the foreground. And it's hard to pick up folks in that light. Let's see where we are. This is a better light. So, Jay Jacobs back here, I believe.
Yep.
And I'm not sure who that is. And we've got folks that have come and gone with the text. Okay, Tom Alt. He's sleeping through Stan's presentation.
Tom sleeps a lot.
Yes, he does. Still to this day. The meeting after the meeting, which we sort of duplicated after the service.
Where was that?
It even could have been Sonny's, I don't know. It looks like a barbecue restaurant. And, you know.
I think that was a meeting we all went to Tampa.
Oh, do you think that
for
was in
something?
Tampa? Okay.
And this was on the way back. We stopped somewhere. I think that's what that is.
Okay. And Huey, you can describe this one since you provided it.
Well, we were talking about 2J's, and I knew I had a picture of Stan at 2J's. And this was a sandwich that he got, and he was claiming how great it was, and he would eat probably most of one side of that, and the other he would take home for Linda.
That thing's
And that
huge.
was a beef tongue sandwich.
Yeah. They do their roast beef the same way, and they do their Reubens the same way. Great big monster sandwiches.
Of course, that's Arvin in the picture.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Drupal's camp.
Yeah, that's one of the Drupal camps. Yeah, where we helped.
With Sheila Bagel.
Met Sheila Bagel. Yeah.
And then this was one of the sail away cruises. I'm not sure if it's the first one or the second one. I'm thinking you're on it because you got pictures later on. And it was decided, the technology was not that good, but it was decided to do a live broadcast of the sail away from the deck using
Yeah, there was some
Wi-Fi.
guy. There was some guy. I can't even remember where he was from. He was a friend of Sam's, or Sam found him, or something. And he was. He actually streamed it. And this was early in the century, so
Yep. So the
before the
technology
technology was really, before the technology was really there.
a little close up. And people, of course, are calling people at home to see if they're watching them. And there's Big L's again. And I guess that's an art show because I reckon they have the art print in the back. And
No, that was just in the lounge area
Oh, really?
of the ship, and I think we had either wine. They had a wine party or something, but it was on board the ship.
Okay.
And that's
Did
the
anybody let
gals.
Did anybody let the Bagels know that Stan passed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're aware. Hang on, let me silence my phone. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's Jack Pearson. I don't remember his wife's name. And Jack still gets the emails, so I'm not sure. But I haven't had much contact with him recently.
Mike, did you hear from Arvin at all? Did he know?
Arvin?
Yes, I talked to him.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry he didn't make the service.
Yeah, me too.
Dinner. And that's one of the seminars that Stan sat in on. And now I'm not sure what precipitated the handshake, but Stan's got an
I don't either. I think it was Stan's birthday.
Ah, okay. And one of the more merry moments. They are ashore here somewhere. I see the palm trees. Well, what are they? What are they? Are they up on a pier or are the palm trees on the deck? That's interesting. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. This looks like it's still inside. Okay, I thought it was at one of the ports, but hard to
No,
tell.
I think that was on the ship.
Yeah. Okay. Dinner. You recognize the table mates? These two? I don't, probably not from our group.
I think that's the fellow from. Let me think if I can think of his name. He was from Canada, but he'd come down. He'd be here in the Orlando area part of the year. Can't remember his name. I think that's he and his wife.
In one of the events. I think was it you, Huey, that said that one of the few solid color shirts that Stan had?
I didn't mention it. No.
Somebody mentioned that to me. And my comment was, yeah, he really liked his plaid shirts. So. Now, this one, Dave Eames and Stan sort of partnered in this earpiece venture, where you would have a mold taken of your ear and a professional earpiece would be developed. This is kind of like the performers use, you know, when they're singers at the bands or the guitar players or whatever. And I'm not sure exactly what the business relationship was, but Stan was working with Dave. And they went to several shows. And I guess, I don't know if this picture came from yours, Huey, or from mine.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay, and I think I was. So I must have gone down to wherever he was displaying and caught that. Well, I recognize the connector because I still have.
Yep. I still have one too. And behind is the equipment that the microphone went through, and that was at the center downtown where the I can't remember what it was, like a day center
Okay.
where we met for a while.
Another meeting after the meeting, given the TVs on the wall and
And beer on the table.
Is that Mike Leach in the center? I know that's Bob.
No,
Black.
that's Bob Black.
I wasn't.
Oh, and next to him, no. Trying to think who that is.
Looks like Mike Leach, but
Yeah, but I don't think it is.
okay. And this,
That was my going away party.
yeah, I thought that's what it was, and Stan was getting ready to give you one of your plaques. So we've got a better shot of that one there.
And it's Robin next to me.
Was that in Denny's?
I don't think
No,
so
is it-
because of the blinds.
It was the
You think it was the one over on next to the I-4?
I'm just trying to think. It was a buffet place.
Oh, okay.
Golden Corral.
Okay.
In their back room.
That's Stan and I at one of the trade shows.
Yep. Swag.
I think I was living over here then, and I had gone over there, and he and I met, and we were talking, and somebody took had somebody take a picture of us. We're famous for the trade shows.
This one I think was one of the FACUG conferences, and because I sort of recognized the restaurant, and there's a bunch of the attendees that were there taking a lunch break or something like that. Bob Black had gone over. I went. Stan went. You were there. I'm not quite sure which one it was, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the FACUG conferences. And I had to pick this as representative of what Stan did besides being the president. For the longest time, he was our SIG chairman. And with special recognition for Total Commander, which was Stan's favorite utility, which he would, at any opportunity, he would tell everybody how excellent a program it is. And in honor of Stan, I'm using Total Commander to organize the 2 CFCS computers I have. So we'll see if I'm able to become proficient with it. One of the board of directors pictures that wound up in the bus line, and with the captions below it. So I had actually forgotten that James Thompson had been president of our group for quite a while. And
So can I jump in here for a second? Can you guys hear me?
yes, we can hear you, Paul.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I got my computers packed up because I'm leaving for a couple of days. So I just thought I'd see if the phone would work. First time I tried it on Zoom.
Oh,
But I just kind of have a few minutes and I got to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to hang in for a little while and then
I'm just about finished going through the
yeah. And
slideshow.
if you guys are still going here, after 8 o'clock, I'll chime back in.
Okay.
But I'll just hang here for a little while. I just want to say hello to everybody. That's all. Thank you.
And hello
Thanks,
back.
Paul.
And this one, I think you sent me Huey, and
Yeah, I nominated Stan to be one of the volunteers of the year, and he um he was uh, given credit for it, but he wasn't the winner.
Oh, all right. It does sort of look like he was, but okay,
Yeah, it came from APCUG.
that's nice. And the remainder of the picture are family pictures, obviously much younger in the pictures before he decided to grow a
His
beard.
twin daughters.
Yeah. And their granddaughter, it's Janie and Reba are the two girls, and this is Janie's daughter. And that is Harlan and Reba and Janie, and I don't remember her name. Did you pick it up at the service?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I asked her afterwards how old she was, and she said she was 9 years old. So I thought she did pretty good.
Very active.
Yeah, for her eulogy for her grandfather. One of the earlier pictures of her was Stan. And a little bit later, one of their Christmas pictures together. And Harlan and Stan in one of their lighter moments. I'm pretty sure that finishes the album. So I have, the links are up on Discord. Let me just see if I can get out of this easily. Yeah, I can get out. Okay. So the links are up on Discord under the announcements section. And after an appropriate time, I will put them on the CFCS history, which I'm starting to gather information as much as I can from all of the stuff that Stan has. Huey has found, or you had it, his OneDrive that you shared with me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
I just had about a gigabyte of files,
so there's a
old
whole
history, and yeah.
whole bunch of CSCS history, which we're going to try to archive, both here and also on the Google account. Okay. And for those that haven't checked us out, I'll just mention that we do an informal chat mornings from 9 to 10, a coffee and chat. And most afternoons, if I'm around to start it, but it's always here, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, including in Australia. So more than welcome to come join us there. Okay, let me stop sharing. Any other comments about Stan or what we just posted? Okay, I told Drew
Just a
also has.
comment there. You mentioned Total Commander.
Yeah.
We in Melbourne lost one of our more active club members earlier this year, and he was a real fan of Total Commander too.
I kind of like it. It's got an interface that if you use it on a regular basis, I can see that would be very handy. I just haven't gotten, I like to drag and drop stuff, and I'm still learning the different ways to do it. So if you want to overwrite something, or you just want to copy it, or you want to move it, or things like that. And there's all kinds of keyboard commands for that too. So
Back in the early days, Norton had a Norton Commander, and it was very similar. And I think when they stopped Norton Commander, that's where Total Commander and Windows Commander, I think, was another one. They were all very similar. And I used the Norton Commander for a long time. And there was something that began with an X. Can't remember what it was called now. I want to say X Drive, but it wasn't X Drive. It was X Plus, or
I think I vaguely remember that.
this
Yeah,
was back in the 90s. Yeah.
And I still use a program called Double Commander.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they're similar to it. Yeah.
Well, Drew, you
What
had
is it for?
excellent presentation on
It's
a Windows file manager that sort of, it's like the Windows file manager, but it has better tabs and things like that.
Yeah. And then if you're if you're visually impaired and you really do need a file manager that has larger fonts, the Double Commander program allows you to change not only the font size, but the font style. So you can get it to a point where it's easy for you to read.
Sandy, I think I cut you off.
I was just inquiring, what is Total Commander? What does it do? What the purpose? I've heard you talk about it, but I don't know the program.
As many file management programs do, they let you put up 2 windows side by side, actually more than 2, and then it's with plenty of commands available either at the keyboard or drop-down menus, but essentially supposedly making it easier to drag and drop from one folder to another folder.
Yeah, it was a file manager, Sandy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're saying that also has the capacity for much larger font?
The program that I use called Double Commander is similar to Total Commander. They're variations of each other, and it's a double window tabbed browser file manager. And you can adjust the font size. I don't know about the others.
And Drew, you on Monday showed us one called Files Community.
Yes. And
You mentioned a couple of different ones, didn't you? Or it was just focus on that. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, that particular video was on that one program. And then I will throw into the chat, in case anybody wants, a link to the Double Commander. That's also open source and runs on multiple machines. Double Commander, which is from SourceForge, that's the one that has adjustable sizes for the fonts, so that you can make it as big as you want.
My sister is telling me that because of her vision problems, she can no longer easily see the screen. And
Right. So if she wants a file manager where she could make the fonts, as big as she needs them, Double Commander is a good file manager for that.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'll give you the floor, Drew, if you'd like to talk a little bit about what your activities have been in the last week or so, or last couple of weeks. And I know you have to leave us.
Sure. Well, what I was going to do was, let's see, share the screen, entire screen. Yeah. Come on. Oh, there we go. This is the website. Let me get rid of this floating control thing. Hide floating controls. This is the website. You don't see anything?
We don't see your floating thing.
Oh, right. But you see the Double Commander window.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to give you a quick view of what it looks like. If I go into Double Commander. Double Commander is a open source file manager, and it has a lot of neat features. One of which, if you go into configuration and then options, on the left-hand side, you scroll down to where it says fonts. And then now you can adjust the fonts to be as big as you want them to be. And you can change the font style if you want. So if I need the fonts to be really big, I can make them 20, 20 point, and then say okay. And now the fonts are going to get really big. So this is too big, obviously, for me, but this is what you can do with it if you need it. So anyway, for those of you who want a file manager that has adjustable fonts, that's what that is. What I've been spending most of my spare time on recently is with a program called rclone View. And it is this program right here. It's still in beta, and they have it for Windows and they have it for the Mac. And they're in development for a version for Linux. So that they've assured me that I'm going to be on the beta for that when it becomes available. And then this is a list of the providers a sample list of the providers that they support. And this rclone, without the view, is a command line utility that mounts cloud drives, and it does over 50 of them. This is just a sampling of them. And that way you don't need to use proprietary software or, for example, I have 2 Microsoft OneDrive accounts, and Windows only allows you to have one OneDrive personal account connected to your computer at a time. And if you use rclone, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want, because you're not going through the Microsoft software. So this program, when you launch it, is almost like a file manager. It comes up in a window and looks like this. And on the left-hand side, I have my local hard drives. And if I scroll up, I have all of my local disks are here on the left. And then on the right-hand side, these are all of the remotes that I've configured already. And if I want to go into my Google Drive, for example, all I have to do is click on the button to say open, and it brings up my Google Drive. And I can click on, there's this little button here called sync. And if you have a directory on the left and you set your directory on the right to be a remote, you can click on the sync button and it will synchronize the files that are on the left with the files that are on the right. And another thing that you can do is you can do encryption. So one of the things that I like to do is I have a remote that brings me to my a OneDrive account. And inside here in this demo folder, you'll see that all of these files are completely unreadable. These are what they look like when rclone encrypts them. They're just a bunch of gobbledygook. If I load another remote and I choose to load the decryption version, this is what the same folder looks like. And if I were to drag a file from my C drive up to here, it would encrypt it at the same time that it is transferring the file to the cloud. So if you want to store files on the cloud in an encrypted format, this is one way to do that. And you can also click on the button over here and say mount, and it will mount that drive as a either automatic, or you can pick the drive letter you want. If I pick S: and say mount, it now mounted drive S. So if I were to go to my file manager, or even if I were to go to Double Commander, for example, come on, now I have drive S, and these are the files that were in that other program. And these are encrypted on the server, but they're not encrypted when I'm looking at them. And that's a nice feature that this program has, is it keeps all of my files secure. Another thing that I like to do with it is load.
Hey, Drew,
Yeah.
how does it, is there some kind of a key that you have to set up prior to doing this for the encryption? Like, how does it know how to
Well,
decrypt?
what you do is you start off and you create a new remote, and you you create whatever. I upgraded the software today, and now it's not producing the list. Um, Give me 1 second here, and I will fix that. Um, I'm running a beta version of the software, and I tried doing an upgrade, and it didn't work. So I'm going to copy that file over, overwrite and downgrade myself. Now I can come on. I apologize for this.
So rclone view actually runs on top of rclone on your computer, which is
Yes.
normally a command line utility.
Yes. And in fact, what I discovered is that they ship rclone with their software. So you don't even have to go to the rclone website and do anything with rclone itself. All you have to do is download rclone view. And first thing it does is check for updates. And let me go into Remote Manager again and see if I can create a new remote. Well, it's not letting me do it. Let me try one last thing here. Restart rclone. And there we go. Successfully restarted. And connected to 168.1. That's why it's not working. Oh man.
Well, it is beta.
Why is it doing this? Anyway, what happens is when you create a remote, you create a remote for your OneDrive account, for example. And if I scroll down to the bottom here, I created a remote called SCOD, which stands for Sarah Connor's OneDrive. And you go through and you set up that remote normally. So the first step one is if you want to encrypt the files on your OneDrive account, you first create your OneDrive remote. And then you create another remote. And when you create that remote, you label it of type crypt. And in the software, there's an option to choose that. And then you say that you want to encrypt this particular remote from over here and give it a password. And it essentially creates a second remote. So this crypt remote is, if I open it, it opens to these files that you saw in the file manager. And if I go to the unencrypted version, the files will be encrypted in here. So this is what they look like when they're encrypted. And unfortunately, I messed around with this before the meeting, so I can't go in and show you what the new remote looks like, because this is supposed to show a list of providers right now, and it's not doing it.
When you say you give it a password, is it using the password as a key for the encryption? Or is it
yes, yes, exactly. It's using whatever password you give it. And let me verify that I have, delete rclone.exe. Oh, that's why it didn't work. Hang on. I figured this out. Delete rclone. Access denied. Why?
It's open. Probably can't delete it. Well,
But it's not. I don't think it's open now.
if rclone view is open, isn't it using rclone actually? Just putting a graphic interface on rclone?
Yeah, but I closed the app. Task list. rclone.exe. Yeah, it's running somewhere. Task kill /im rclone.exe. All right. Oops. /f. And successfully terminated. So now if I copy rclone old to rclone exe and now start rclone viewer, it should work. I have to report that to them. They only work with an outdated version of the rclone. So now if I say remote manager, go into remote, say new remote. Here we go. See, here's the list.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you first create your remote for whatever it is that you want. SMB is Microsoft, WebDAV. So if you type in OneDrive, you can choose Microsoft OneDrive as your remote. And you set it up the way that you leave all of this blank. And you give it a name. And when you click next, it will bring up a web browser and ask you to authenticate into your Microsoft account. And that's how it links your Microsoft account to the rclone software. And this is going to eventually pop up a login box for Microsoft. And you would set up your remote. And then once this remote is set up, you go back to the program and create a new remote. Is it waiting on me? Yeah. So once you create your remote that you have to OneDrive, you select this remote here called Crypt, and it encrypts or decrypts a remote. And then you just basically put in the name of the remote that you created. And in my case, it was Sarah SCOD : and you can choose to do standard encryption or obfuscate or don't encrypt the file names at all. So you don't have to encrypt the file names. You can leave the file names normal and it will still encrypt the files. And then you just put in a password or passphrase of your choice and make sure you never forget it, because if you forget it, you're never going to get your files back. So you put that in your password manager. And then once you're done with that, you basically just mount each of the two different remotes, one of them that's encrypted and one that's not encrypted. And that's really all there is to it. If you want to, what I do is back up cloud to cloud. So you can set up your Google Drive on the left and your pCloud drive on the right and synchronize your data. And what I do is I back up to the cloud, but I also back up my cloud drives. And I will synchronize from one cloud drive to the other cloud drive. And unfortunately, this particular software is in beta and it's running rather slow. This should have pulled up the directory listing by now. There we go. It took a long time. This is just beta software. But this is my remote. And if I wanted to, I could choose a directory, like my music folder, and select everything, and then click on synchronize, and it will synchronize it to wherever I want it to. So if I want to sync it to a temp folder and just hit sync, it will say, all right, the source is the OneDrive account, destination is the Google Drive account, and you can do a dry run, or you can hit next and do it. And you can also save it as a job so that you can repeat it again in the future.
Does it have a time function where you can set up a schedule?
This does not have a schedule, no.
Okay.
There's a version of
open source, Drew?
Yes, it. Well, I don't know whether this particular program is ultimately going to be open source or not. It's made by a company called rClone View. Let me go to rClone.
Gotcha.
rCloneView.com. And it's I don't know what they're going to do when they're not in beta anymore. Right now it's free, and their website doesn't say anything about what it's going to be in the future. They just went up to I noticed them because I was on the rClone forum, and they posted a message there saying, come check us out. So I did. And that's how I learned about these guys about a week ago. And I'm waiting for them to get me the Linux version so I can play with that. But we can see right now they're at version 0169. So they're very new. But the program works. For them, I haven't seen anything that's blatantly broken. But it works like a file manager, and it allows you to mount cloud drives and synchronize files and encrypt files. And on your other computers, all you need to do is put in the right password, and you can decrypt the files. And there is a program available for Android called RoundSync, RoundSync, RoundSync. And that is an Android version of rClone, and it has the ability to access your remotes, and it can encrypt and decrypt so that you can see your files on your phone from that you have in the cloud. Anybody have any questions beyond that?
No, that's pretty cool.
I assume that it will pick up any remotes that you've already set up using rClone browser.
Yes, it will.
I like
already
that it does Proton Drive.
It does do Proton Drive. If I go into remote and I search for PRO, there's Proton Drive.
That brings up a question. Do you create an account for rClone View, and are all these
rClone View itself does not have an account, no.
So you have to set this up manually on every computer?
Yes, you set this up on each of your computers. But what you can do is copy the config file from computer to computer. So that you don't have to, let's say I have like 20 remotes. I have a lot of different remotes.
Mm-hmm.
And I can copy the configuration file. If I'm setting up a new machine, I can copy the config file from computer A to computer B, and it will automatically learn about all of the remotes. You don't have to set them up again.
Interesting.
Is there any kind of integration with your password manager so you can just click a button to get to, or do you have to switch back and forth and copy and paste and so forth?
This doesn't have any, right now, this doesn't have any associations with anything other than itself. and the rclone program itself.
Mhm.
The other program that somebody mentioned was rclone browser, and I have that on my computer too. And that's what this one looks like. It's reading all of the same configs. So here is my cell phone, for example. I can go in. I have my cell phone is running SFTP server, and I can browse my cell phone, and I synchronize my files that are on my cell phone. I grab pictures and recordings and downloads and everything, so that if my phone has a problem or breaks, I don't lose anything. So you can actually use rclone View and rclone Browser at the same time, apparently.
And of
I
course, our
can,
client browser runs under Linux
yes,
already.
rclone Browser runs under Linux, and rclone View will be running on Linux as soon as they get to beta. They've assured me that they will send me a download link for the beta when they have it available. So this will be on Linux. I just don't know exactly when. So that's basically what I've been doing in my spare time in the last week or so, playing with this toy.
Neat.
Looks good. Thank you.
So I will stop the share and let somebody else share.
All right, my apologies to, I guess, Drew, and I think Dick was on Monday, but I would like to show you a 6-minute video I did on Copilot. And let me go ahead and share my screen to advanced video file here.
And I'm actually, before you start, going to check out because I have another meeting to go to at 8.
Okay.
See you later. You can catch up on the video.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this one you've seen anyway. So,
Yep. All right. So have a good night.
Thanks, Drew.
bye, Drew. Microsoft Copilot features to increase your productivity. I'm Huey Poplock. Let's go from an idea to Word to PowerPoint and create a presentation very quickly and easily using Copilot. First, we go to office.com online. Now, I am a member and an owner of Microsoft 365. I do pay for the subscription. I'm also on the trial of the subscription for Copilot Pro. So I'm using both of those to make this happen. But let's take a look. First, we'll open up Word. We want to describe what we would like Copilot to write. So we're going to type in what are notifications in Windows 10 and 11, and how do you manage them? This is now Copilot within Word. When we click that, it will create a draft of an article telling us how to do that. Now, for time purposes, I am going to assume that everything is correct, is you are going to check and make sure that all of the items that it talks about are correct. You can tell it to keep it, and that's what we're going to do, is keep it. So it is now a Word document. We can make any edits here that we want if we feel that it's necessary. The next thing we're going to do is come up to File and Export. These choices do not appear on your desktop version. So I'm going to tell it to export to PowerPoint. Remember, this is going to be real time, folks. So we're going to now choose some kind of a theme. And if we didn't like those, we can see more. Let's do this and export. Now this is real time, and it's done. Now let's open the presentation. And here we go. And let's quickly go through the presentation. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to show you that it created all of the slides that we need for our presentation. This is PowerPoint. We can do this. Let's take this screen and we, instead of doing this, insert a picture from this device. And we're going to replace it with this, just so we get the right size. We will delete this picture and there we go. Now we're showing where the notifications go in that PowerPoint. So that's how you create very quickly, very easily, a PowerPoint presentation from an idea, putting it in Word and then bringing it into PowerPoint. Then edit your PowerPoint. Let's write an email using Copilot. This time we're going to go to Outlook Online. We need to sign in. We're going to tell it we want new mail. We want to go to Copilot. Draft with Copilot. What we want to say is the following. I spent the night at the home of Mike and Joyce while in town for a memorial service for a good friend of ours. Write me a great thank you note. And I just click generate. And then we'll tell it to keep it. I just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude for your hospitality during my recent trip. Staying with you, Mike and Joyce, provided me with comfort during a difficult time. Your kindness and warm welcome made all the difference while I was in town for the memorial service of our dear friend. The conversations and moments we shared were truly special, and I will always remember them. Thank you again for opening your home to me. I sign my name, I put the title and to whom, and I send it. Very nice. I got a real nice note. It's difficult for me sometimes to write those kind of things. The third feature I'm going to cover is forms. So we, again, are at office.com, and instead of a document or a presentation, this time we're going to go to a form. And it immediately opens up with the Copilot box, and I am going to create a form for the next Stug Lunch and Learn get-together. The following information is needed: first name, last name, email address. Are you a member or a guest? And please affirm that you understand there's a donation of $5 to cover the cost of food. We're going to tell it to generate that. Just takes a couple of seconds. There's our form. It looks like everything is fine, so I tell it to keep it. There's our form. It is complete and ready to go. We can also style it. So let's go ahead. Oh, we'll do this. Keep it. There's the heading and the information. So that's all there is to creating a form. Just put in what you want, and then you can add a new question. You can add with Copilot. You can then edit the form to whatever way you would like, add more things to it, and then make it available for your users to fill out. 3 Microsoft Copilot features to. There you go. Just 3. Now, I am using the paid version of Copilot, which makes it as part of Office. And I'm using the online Office version. It still isn't integrated with the desktop as well as it is doing it with the online version. But Microsoft is really making it part of the Office product.
With the form that was created, like Google Forms actually will give you a link and you just send it out and people go to it. So if you host that on OneDrive, can people go to it, fill out the form, and you'll get
I imagine so. I didn't go that far with it, but I would imagine it works much like the Google Forms. But it certainly makes creating it a lot easier.
I agree.
Does that run with the OpenAI backend, or do you know?
It's Copilot. So
Right.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I think Copilot is using OpenAI, but I'm not totally sure.
Isn't Microsoft one of the collaborators?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
So at the back end of that form be a spreadsheet or a database?
You can you can also use spreadsheets using Excel, using Copilot as well. I am not familiar with doing that, but and I didn't have the time to learn, so
Yeah,
I didn't include it. But yeah, you
usually,
can create using Copilot in Excel as well. Tell it what
yeah.
you want it,
If you
tell it what you want it to create, and it'll create the spreadsheet for you.
if you're putting data into that form that you just created, uh, where is it going to store that data? Will it
Because
be
you're doing it on the cloud, it will do it in OneDrive. And then you can copy it and move it wherever you want.
yeah, but when you say it's in OneDrive, but in what format? As a spreadsheet or as a
Oh,
database?
Excel, yeah. If you do it in
So it will
Excel,
be
it's going to be an
an
Excel
Excel
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, understood.
Yep. It's amazing some of the stuff it's AI is able to do and easily and quickly. It's just mind-boggling.
Hmm.
Lots to learn. Okay, well, Richard, since we have you here, what have you been doing this last month, technology or software or whatever wise?
Well, I spent the last fortnight in Hong Kong actually, um, checking out some of the computer shops there. In fact, I bought myself a new desktop while I was there. That's it.
Huh.
Quite
Many,
a powerful little machine. Got all sorts of interfaces on it. And while I actually had it connected up to the television screen by the HDMI cable while I was in Hong Kong and with a wireless keyboard, and I was using it. And it's very powerful and very fast.
What
I've
And
operating
had two I've had two Intel ones similar to that. The NUCs, the NUCs.
yeah,
And the last one I had before the one I'm using now, I had for several years. And I had an i7 in it with 64 gigs of RAM and a 4 GB SSD card in it.
yeah. Well, that actually cost equivalent of about $100. Well, I didn't have the initially it didn't include the storage and the RAM, but I was told that that was cheaper, so to buy separately. So it's got 16 gig RAM and I think about 256 gig M2 SSD in it now. So yes, I was so impressed with it that before I left, I actually went out and bought a second one. So it was an old, well, that was a pre-loved Asus one, which I got at one of the local computer stores in Hong Kong. But
I remember even back in the day in the 70s when I was there, the shopping for electronics was amazing. So
yeah, yeah, because I spent one afternoon. We actually went over to Shenzhen to check out the computer centers there and the SIG market. But that turned out to be rather disappointing. There was not much available at the sort of level that I was looking for. I think they're more concentrating on selling to wholesalers, the wholesale amounts. Apparently, the retail stuff's dropped right off because everyone's buying it online now, rather than going to the individual stores.
Richard, what operating system are you running on that?
Well, at the moment, it was set up with Windows 11, but
Hmm.
so not a licensed version. But my intention is to convert it to a Linux box. So got a So one machine downstairs, it's actually running Linux at the moment, but that's an old Core 2 Duo, so it's a little bit slow and out of date.
What flavor of Linux?
Linux Mint.
Mint.
It's
Okay.
very easy to set up and keep up to date. So,
Yeah.
um,
Cool.
and I'm aiming at so most of the programs I've got loaded up now are the ones that will run both on Linux and Windows. So keeping both the systems pretty well identical. So
Mhm.
trying to avoid the proprietary stuff and keep everything that runs on both machines. So the likes of, well, at the moment, Firefox browser and Thunderbird, and Parkland browser. That's another one. So
Yeah.
VLC media player. So
Neat.
all the stuff that runs on both systems.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Sean, would you like to share anything this week?
A couple things. I got the new phone, a new iPhone. I'm anticipating the Apple AI that will be forthcoming within the next few months. Um, they're touting that as being a secure, for their security, on-device AI type things, and they've set up special cloud servers for if it has to go off device. And apparently, if it has to go past there, it'll give you a notification saying that it would like to use, for instance, ChatGPT to get its information, and you can either approve or decline that at that time. So the phone, otherwise, I'm going from a 13 to a 16, and I don't notice much of a difference. I mean, the speed of the 13 was fine, and the 16 is very similar. I did have to start getting new cables because the 13 Pro had the lightning cable, the lightning connector, and they finally moved to, and I think they may have done it last year, maybe even the year before, to USB-C, so which I'm happy about. Um, Something that I recently purchased software-wise is a piece of software called Hardy. It's called Privacy Party. Has anybody heard of Privacy Party?
No.
It's a piece of software that it's actually a browser extension. I think it was about 20 or $30, and it goes through you give it permission to go through your social media, and it allows you to clean up and make sure that your social media is you can go through and you can easily delete things. They don't make it, like, for instance, Facebook doesn't make it easy to delete things sometimes. And it also does a checkup to make sure that your privacy settings are all set. It's pretty neat the way it works. It gives you a step-by-step instructions, and some of it will do for you. You just click a button and it'll say, "This is what I'm going to do. Do you want me to do that?" Yes. Or you can do it manually and look at each of the settings in your privacy and Facebook. It works on multiple cloud services: Google, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, Venmo, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I'm pretty impressed with it. It's been I've gone through each of those, and there's only a couple. Like, for instance, on Facebook, it wants me to limit my photo album visibility. That's the one thing I could not do, and I can't figure out how to do that. So I don't have a lot of photos on Facebook anyway, but so I'm not super concerned about it. But I think I may reach out to them and let them know that you want me to do this, but I don't know how. So anyway, Privacy Party is the app, and it's pretty cool. So
Sean, on your new phone, it was just approved the latest version of the AirPods, the hearing, are now rated as hearing aids with software. And you're able to, not that you need it, but some of the rest of the people that you may know, like us, uh, you can use them actually as hearing aids.
Well, it's funny that you should say that. I think I have some restricted hearing in my right ear. I have not gone for a test, but I can tell. The time that I really notice it if I'm watching TV and I lay on my right side, and then I switch and I lay on my left side, I can hear better when I'm using my left ear. So that's a good point because I'm looking forward to that. I heard that it was just approved, so we should see an update at some point. And I did buy the new AirPods Pro, the latest AirPods Pro. They didn't update them, but um, I did get the latest version of that. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I'm sure the hearing aid companies are not real happy with Apple at this point, which is completely fine with me, because they charge a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm not ready to buy an expensive phone and an expensive uh, earpods to do it, but I did do some over-the-counter hearing aids that I'm testing right now, and I'm finding there's some feedback and some other issues, but at least it's helping me
Good, good. Yeah.
for under $300.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, there's a new setting. I've been using AirPods Pro for probably, well, I guess about 5 years now. Since they came out, I've been using them, and I'm on my third set of them, and I really like the noise canceling feature. Like for instance, I'll put them on and go out and mow the lawn, and I can comfortably listen to podcasts. I listen to Clark Howard, so that's my podcast when I'm mowing the lawn. So I go out and I listen to Clark Howard, and I can barely hear the mower. And I've got a gas mower; it's not an electric mower, so that tells you something. Um, there's a new feature called adaptive control in the settings under the Bluetooth for the um, for the AirPods. Let me see if I can actually look at it. I don't have them connected right now. No. But it's called adaptive. And the way it works is you can say, I want a certain amount of outside noise. There used to be transparency where everything on the outside you could hear. Now with adaptive, you can adjust it and say, I want a little bit of the outside and what's happening around me. I want to be able to hear a little bit or more or everything, just like transparency. But if you have it in adaptive and you start talking, it will open up, it'll pause or quiet down what you were listening to so that you can have a conversation with somebody. And then after a couple of seconds of the conversation ending, it starts playing your music again or turns on your noise cancellation. So that's a pretty neat ad that they put in there. So
Sounds like a good feature if you're wearing your AirPods while you're driving, because they usually say don't wear earphones or buds or whatever in a car because you might not hear another car near you or somebody honking at you or something like that.
yeah, I never wear them when I'm driving, mainly because I just listen to the music from the speakers. But you're right, that would be a worthwhile thing to have in the transparency mode if you're driving and listening to something. That way you could hear somebody honking at you or whatnot. So
What OS version did the new phone come with?
it came with iOS 18,
And
which
no
is the
problems?
latest version. No, I haven't had any problems. I've been running the beta for about 2 months, and I did have some periodic issues with the betas, but that comes to be that's expected. Nothing that was a showstopper, though. I mean, there were some little annoyances. It wasn't even enough to report the issue. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what they were, but um, it's I mean for a .0 release, it's great. Apple's got a pretty good reputation. Other than I saw your message about the iPad, um, that's a rarity. It's usually they're pretty good with their updates, even on the dot releases, the dot zero releases. And I did just update my iPad while we were in this meeting, and it's running the new software, so it didn't get bricked. So,
Well, I'm sure Apple got right on it because if new iPads being sold in the store were literally
yeah,
bricked when
I
people
was kind of
bought them
hoping that it
home
would
and
brick
turned
it,
them on.
yeah, so I could get over there and get a new one. Although this iPad is it's an iPad mini, so it's not a super big one. It's a little bit bigger than my phone. Um, I don't have gigantic hands, so I find that the smaller iPad mini is good for me. And I mainly just use it for when I travel. This fits great on the table in front of you at an airplane. And they got one of the stand. This is a really cool um, case in that it's got it folds over, and then this magnetic piece here can actually connect. I don't know if you can see there. There's some little grooves here, and then it becomes a stand. So that rests nicely on a table or on a table, really, to be able to watch content or, in this case, type or whatnot. So um, I'm not a big fan of iPads. Other than for that, I much prefer a laptop, but to each his own, I guess. But I got that mainly for just for traveling.
I've got a ninth generation iPad that's got cellular as well, and that's why I bought it because I wanted the cellular. So no matter where I go, I have access. I pay $10 a month for the connection, which to me is worth it. And so I
Hmm.
can use it anywhere. I can use it if somebody else is driving. I can be doing anything I want in the car, that sort of thing.
That's
And
a
I've
little bit
been
of your $10 a month is a little bit of a misnomer. It's more like 15 after taxes, but they never say that at the Apple
I
Store.
got T,
It's an extra $10.
I got T-Mobile.
It's $10.
Yep.
Wow. So they're eating the tax on that, which is nice. At
Yep. Yep.
AT&T, you're paying. I know that because I have an Apple Watch. This is my second. This is the Apple Watch Ultra. I have this is the Ultra 2. The Ultra 1 is going to my dad next week, and I have the cellular, and they all come with cellular. In fact, I just went for a walk tonight, and I only took my watch and my headphones and nothing else, and I was able to listen to and reply to text messages and so forth, all by just talking. It's a pretty cool thing, but I pay 15 a month
Yeah,
for
I think I do for my watch.
yeah. So anyway, I love the Apple Watch Ultra. I love the iPhone. I can't see myself going to Android, but if at some point if that comes to, I can't imagine Apple going out of business. But you never know. Said that about Sears as well, and Sears is gone. Kmart's gone. You know, Tupperware is going. You hear about Tupperware? They just filed for
Yeah,
bankruptcy,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
so got to keep up with the times.
And Qualcomm is talking about maybe buying Intel.
Oh, really? Interesting. Huh.
Wouldn't
Wow.
wouldn't that
I
be?
thought it was NVIDIA, and I made mention of it earlier this week, but I was looking up for the articles, and it's still speculation. There's no
Okay.
formal, but that would be interesting.
Yeah. Right. And very interesting. So that's about it for me. Some new gadgets, but if you get a chance, look into that privacy party. If you have social media and you're wanting to tighten up your security settings, it works really well and it lets you go through things pretty quickly instead of having to hunt and peck. It knows where to look, and they're
Yeah.
constantly updating it too. I've only had it for about a month and a half, and they've already added a couple more platforms, and they send out emails. Not too many, but they send out emails letting you know that there's something new to that they're now offering. It's part of your purchase. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Sandy, have you got anything you'd like to share with us?
Not really. I'm, as you may have heard from what Huey said, um, I need to go shopping for a computer, so I need to do my research.
Do you have a feel
Suggestions
for
welcome.
do you have a feel for do you want a desktop or a mini or a laptop?
Oh,
I want a laptop because my primary use, other than correspondence, is doing genealogy. So I like to take it with me to courthouses and libraries. So something that's portable.
I was at Costco last week, and they've got a good display of different laptops there, and their prices seemed reasonable. But you've got, if I remember correctly, there's another Amazon day, October 8th and 9th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. It
Yeah.
is October, and I think it's the 8th and 9th.
And yeah, I just posted it here. Yeah, 8th and 9th. And then a month later, you've got, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So you've got some good deals. You hunt up and find the things you like and write down what their prices are now, unless you just have to go out and get one and see what you can do when those sales come up.
Sandy, what operating system are you looking at?
I went blank. Not Apple.
Windows.
Windows.
Okay.
I mean, way back when in the university, I used Apple, but then out on my own, I went with Windows. So that's what I've used mostly.
All right.
It's probably a good time to do it. And again, unless you just have to have AI and all the latest gee whiz stuff, there's going to be a lot of new in the box computers out there that are not yet converted to the AI systems that are probably going to be discounted 30-40% because they want to clear the inventory and replace it with AI computers.
Well, that's a good thought. No, I just need the basic stuff. I'm not a gamer, not big music listener over the computer. It's mostly doing my research.
If it's just basic stuff, and if your genealogy is in the cloud, you could always try Chromebook because they're pretty cheap, or they used to be pretty cheap.
That's a good thought. Yeah, I have a trip coming up mid-October. Actually, I'm helping my neighbor bring her cats home. She summers up in Minnesota, and her husband died right after mine did, and so she can't handle both cats. So who knew that you have to fly first class to bring the cats home? Such a shame. But while I'm up there, it happens to be close to where ancestors homesteaded. And so I'm going to be spending the week before doing some genealogy. And the Chromebook idea may just solve the problem.
Yeah, because if what you're doing is mostly online anyway, and you don't need a lot of processing power,
No.
that could save you quite a bit. And the Chromebooks themselves, in terms of the internal technology, is getting very good. Good screens, reasonably fast, good keyboards.
Is there kind of a minimum you don't want to go below, though? I mean, do you want to not get too basic on a Chromebook?
I'll leave that to you.
I would say get at least 8 gigabytes of RAM and probably a good processor, either an i5 or an i7.
Okay, I made note of that.
I'll find you a video. I think Ron did one on buying a Chromebook as well, what to look for.
Well, mind you, if your eyesight's good, you can do an awful lot these days on a phone with a large screen. Some of the phones
Well,
with their 6-inch screens.
right now, I'm doing everything on my phone. All of my mail, my banking, talking to you guys, all the Zoom meetings.
But it's kind of nice to have the keyboard when you're typing a lot of stuff too.
Oh, that's absolutely necessary for the genealogy. It's just the computer is so old that I don't feel it would be safe to go online with it anymore.
Okay, thank you for
Can
your
can I
comments.
butt in now with something slightly different? Question on Internet of Things and home automation. Mike posted up what he was doing on the Discord site, which was quite interesting. But I was wondering if anyone else has been using IoT home automation. I
I,
found
I just,
when I was in Hong
the
Kong, I
only,
was looking for devices, but about the only things they had there were they seemed to be selling were the cameras. Nothing much of anything else.
I've got an independent security system that's got its own recorder and Wi-Fi system that connects to the cameras. I know Sean's got an excellent security system, and I've got a single Wi-Fi light bulb up in my attic, so I don't have to get halfway up the stairs and reach up for the cord and pull it. I can just bring my phone out and say turn
I
on.
read
Turn
about
Oh,
on.
that's
that.
great.
And a garage door that closed itself automatically at 9 o'clock.
But I have not. I know I could do a lot more. And Sean, I know you've automated a lot of things in your
I'm
home.
impressed with what you've already done.
Yeah, when it's time for bed, we go lay down and I swipe up on my phone and hit good night, and it turns all the lights in the house off at once. It's great.
Didn't you have something for your blinds too that were opening and closing?
Yeah, you know what? I use this blind. I have a 7 windows downstairs that have tilt. It's a company called SwitchBot, and it closes the blind, opens the blinds in the morning, and then it closes the blinds, or it did close the blinds at sunset, and it knows what time sunset is each day. But we've noticed for the past week that that has not been closing the blinds at sunset. And I last night deleted the automation and re-added it, and I noticed tonight during this meeting, I went downstairs real quick and looked, and they had not closed. They work with the app. I can tell the app closed the blinds, and it does it. I've also got a button on the wall. So I'm gonna probably tonight or at some point this week, I'm gonna go to SwitchBot support and open a trouble ticket and explain what's going on because uh, if we're not home and the lights come on and it gets dark outside, our home is now a an aquarium for people to look inside. So um, we went on vacation in April, and the blinds open and closed the whole time. And it was I didn't think about it before we left, but they did their thing and they closed at night. And it just started. There must have been something that changed recently. There's a little hub by SwitchBot that's located in the living room, and that is supposed to be what sends the command out. But for some reason, the automation's not working. But yeah, we've really enjoyed that feature. Just hitting a button and they all open at once. So
I mean, when you're talking about all the lights going on off, you have to install special globes individually all over the house. Or you got some other mechanism
for what?
for the lights.
The lights, that's all controlled by Apple HomeKit. So we have a Apple. Funny thing is, I don't like the Apple TV. I don't like primarily because of the remote. The remote is the thing that is most important, or one of the most important things. It has to be tactile and work well. And I don't like the flatness of it. I don't like it doesn't hold. I can't hold it very easily. They put a little touchpad on there. I don't need a touchpad. I just need buttons. But the Apple TV works as a hub for your HomeKit accessories. So I have one that I never use except for that. But yeah, that controls all the lights. We've got lighting outside that goes on at sunset, or I think it's set to go on at sunset. So we had a meeting years ago with the police officer, the Orlando community police officer. They have somebody that's dedicated to coming out and talking to the community at meetings and so forth. And they offered to come to your home and give you an evaluation of things you could do to increase safety. And one of the primary things is to have lights on outside at night, because if somebody's going down the street and they're looking for some place to vandalize or break into, They want a house that's dark. They don't want any. They don't want lights. They don't want to be seen. So I've got six lights I think that go on, and they're on all night. They're LEDs. They're LED lights, and they're on. So you pull up to my house, and it's obvious that uh, somebody's home, or we don't want you around if you're not if you're unwelcome. And and then I've got like Mike said, I've got the security camera. Everything's being recorded. So you come here and you're going to be seen, and somebody can play something back for the cops. But yeah, that's all controlled as well by and that works well. Those never had a problem with those very rarely, unless there's some kind of a problem with the power. Those come on at they come on at sunset, and they go off at 15 minutes before sunrise every day. So never have to think about that. It doesn't have to be Apple HomeKit. I mean, if you like smart things, that's another good one. Habitat is one that is very highly praised. Habitat is more for the techies. I have one just because I am a geek, and I haven't found it as easy to set up. Although I can't say that I've put a lot of effort into it, but Habitat is supposed to be really good as well.
I've got the Miss A from Amazon, and I just holler out to turn on different lights that I have in the house and outside, and I can check my cameras through it and so on too.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great option too, because if you've already got that, and she takes care of being a hub as well. Pretty cool.
Yep.
And Google, if you have your Google house, that they do that as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a problem with do you have more than one of the Alexa units?
Yeah, I got one in the bedroom, one in the living room. So I call the one in the bedroom. You have three names that you can give it. So one is Miss A, and the other one is
ECHO?
I'm sorry?
ECHO or computer?
Yeah, computer is one of them, and then there was
Echo?
one other one. Echo, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all called Alexa. And often you're just talking to the one in the room, and the one you can hear one in another room down the way answering you. It's like
that's why I named them two different things.
Huh. I guess that's a good solution. For the longest time, they didn't do that. It figured out where you were. It would answer from the correct device, and probably the last year or two that stopped working correctly. And it's so frustrating that I've considered just switching to something else.
They are going to come out with an AI service, but it's probably going to run about $10 a month.
Do you know when? You heard?
No, they're working on it.
Okay. I'm looking forward to AI with regards to these smart devices and being able to have more meaningful conversations with them.
Yeah.
Because Siri is bad about it. Google's pretty good, but Siri and Alexa are half the time they just don't get it. And I think the AI is really gonna help.
Yeah, that's going to make a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Google has it now. It's on some of their phones, on some of the Google phones, but the Samsung, I got it to work, but it was so convoluted. I don't even remember how I did it, but eventually there'll be a button there that you just tell it and you can have a conversation with it. It's really neat how it works.
Yeah. I periodically will ask, like if I'm driving and I hit the button on the steering wheel and I ask Siri, such and such, and she just doesn't have a clue, and I think to myself, when AI comes out, this is going to be a lot better. And some of the demos they did at the developers conference in June, it looked really promising. So that's why I didn't need a new phone, but the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro are the phones that can really take advantage of the AI.
Yeah.
anything prior to the 16, it'll be limited, but it'll still have the functionality, but it'll be a little bit limited. And I wanted it from the get-go. So yeah, there'll be more to talk about in these meetings with the AI as it moves forward. Definitely.
Yep.
So
And Huey, when is your next AI?
Friday. And I'm doing my AI presentation to a group in South Florida in the morning on Friday, and then I have my AI meeting in the afternoon,
What time?
1 to 2
Eastern time.
Eastern time. Yeah, and then I'll have
That'll be a
the
1 or 2
the
in the
newsletter.
morning for Richard.
I gotta put the newsletter together tomorrow, uh, uh, and I'll have the link will be in there. That's the only place I post the link.
Okay, well, if anybody wants to attend Huey's AI Zoom meeting, send Huey Poplock an email at huey@huey.net and request
Yep.
it.
And I'll add you to the list and the list for the newsletter. And then when the newsletter goes out, it'll be there with the link.
Forrest, you're the last person on my list tonight.
I just enjoyed listening. That's it.
Okay, I know you were having problems because one of your computers doesn't have a microphone and a
That's
camera.
that's my main PC.
And what version of Windows is on it, and what version are you running on?
The 10's on it, but I don't have a camera and I don't have a camera for it either. So on my
Well, they're relatively cheap, and they're going to be
yeah.
cheaper, and
They have microphones built into them.
they have microphones built into them. Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to. I don't think I can. Let's see if I can get this thing over here to me. Yeah, I can. So I got this. Let's see if it. Yeah. Okay. I got this off of Amazon,
Okay.
and it's off-brand, but it's high resolution. And the white is actually an LED light. And if you
Okay.
tap on it, you can get 3 levels of light that shine on your face.
Yeah.
And then it has the microphone in it as well. And it just unfolds. The base has got kind of a clip on it, and it hooks over your monitor.
Yeah.
So with a little bit of a clip here on the bottom. So I use
Yeah,
this on my second computer, and it's just got looks like it's about a 15-foot USB cable on it.
Right now I'm on my 17 or 18-year-old Asus Windows 7, so, and it does okay.
Okay, any last thoughts tonight? Very good.
anybody ever use one of those cameras that you hang down and it actually is right in the middle of your screen?
Yeah, it's called Center Cam. That's what I'm using right now.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's why it looks like you're always looking at me
Yep.
instead of looking, the camera's up here. Because I've got my camera up here. I guess I can move it down, but this is it's too big. So I may get one of those. That's that. And you like it apparently?
The only thing I don't like about it, the cable in it is fairly wide. And so sometimes if I'm reading something on the screen, it's covering something and I'm not sure.
All right.
But the new one that they're coming out with is much thinner.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I did sign up for it, and it's not out yet. They're still finalizing it, but it was one of those what do you call it? Indigo,
Oh, yeah. Indiegogo or
yeah, it was
yeah.
that one or what? Yeah, or one of the other ones, and
Right.
and that's how I got the one I have as well.
Okay. Okay.
The new one is supposed to you're supposed to be able to put it you can put it along the side instead of and the software will allow it to change. This one, if I put it to the side, I'm sideways. Or if I do change it, it becomes portrait and it's long and narrow and it doesn't do well on.
Right. Yeah.
But the new one's supposed to adjust for that.
Okay. Okay, cool. I may. Do you know? Did I don't know if I asked this? Do you know when that's come? Do they have any ETA when that's coming out, the new version?
Yeah, a couple of months ago.
I got to get in there and put my money down so they can build it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's called Center Cam.
Yeah, I'm on their website now, so I'll check it out.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. I think it was a good conversation.
Yes, definitely.
Perhaps we'll see some of you Friday on Huey's conference.
Yep. If not,
Apparently, I just realized this. Richard is in the future.
Yes, he is.
He's in
he's
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
And he's
Richard,
good-
can you look it up and let us know what the lottery ticket winnings are for?
If only. Yeah.
And he does a great job for standing on his head all day long. So on the other side of the world.
Right, exactly.
But we
Okay, guys.
give you a
Nice
hard
seeing everybody.
Thank you, same.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
you all. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.